This is Caitlin, your host of the No Sleep for Dramas podcast, where we get no sleep and survive on coffee to watch just one more episode at night. Happy New Year, everyone. As you can see, this is dropping on January 1st. We are in 2025. I can't believe I just said that. We're going to do a little bit of a combination this year, or this episode, I should say, in the new year. We're going to look back on 2024, and we're going to look a little into 2025. And then I'm also going to go over my resolutions for the new year. If you are a longtime blog reader, you know what that means. I'll explain it when we get to it. But first, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody for being with me in this process of a podcast in 2024. I cannot believe the podcast is almost a year old already. If you would have asked me a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, if I was ever going to do a podcast, I would have told you no. But here we are, almost a year into the podcast. Also, if I sound a little congested, I'm sorry. I have come down with a cold from Christmas. I apologize for the way my voice sounds right now. We're going to say goodbye to 2024 a little bit. We're technically all this month we're going to be saying goodbye to 2024. January is when I talk about my favorite dramas of the past year, and then also looking at 2025 dramas. All of January we're going to be looking back on 2024, but since this episode is dropping on January 1st, we're going to reflect a bit. Okay? I have written this as well as my resolutions as a blog post. I do this every year on the blog. This is my fourth, maybe fifth. I think it's my fourth because we're celebrating 5 years on the blog in 2025. So this is my fourth New Year post that I wrote for the blog, first podcast episode. But you'll probably have this as a podcast episode pretty much every year. A lot's changed for the blog in 2024. A lot has changed in terms of just the No Sleep for Dramas name in 2024. More is coming in 2025 for sure. As I look back on this a little bit, I still have no regrets starting this blog in 2020. If you guys are new to the podcast and have no idea what I'm talking about, here's a little recap a little bit. In 2020, we obviously know what happened in 2020, the pandemic. I was basically held up in my apartment. I wasn't leaving, I was working, and that's it. And Dramaland was there to keep me entertained. And the idea of the blog came out of a drama discussion that was going on Twitter at the time, and people were naming who they followed via podcast or blog or whatever to get their drama news, to get entertainment news, whatever. And a lot of people were talking about me and naming me. And I was like, why? I only have social media. I use Twitter and Instagram to talk about stuff, but I don't have a blog. I don't have a podcast. Well, then the K3, wonderful K3 on YouTube, reached out to me and was like, hey, we have a blog that no one's using. Would you like to write for us? So I started that in 2020. And then I just realized I needed my own blog because I watched a lot more than Korean dramas. So the No Sleep for Dramas blog started in August of 2020. And I pretty much wrote that until January of 2024. That was all I was doing. I was writing, and that was it. Maybe guesting on other people's podcasts, but nothing of my own making. And then in January 2024, I decided to branch out and start the podcast of No Sleep for Dramas. I still write for the blog. All of my notes, and you could call them, what is it you call it for a podcast? You could call them like the notes for the episodes, but it's really just a blog post that I wrote and then I just turned it into a podcast. They're all on the blog. The blog is almost 5 years old. Podcast started in January. I have no regrets. I have no regrets of starting the blog. I have no regrets of starting the podcast. It has brought me so much joy, whether that is like talking about our favorite subject, meeting people, interacting with people, bringing content to people, making friends with other podcasters, even though I've made friends with them with just the blog, but like getting to know them better through podcasting has been a real treat for me. It has just allowed me to create this community online that I really, really see as lifelong friends. And it also has just given me a space to gush about Asian dramas and not feel weird and not feel that I am the only one who likes this media and I haven't found my people, especially because I like the crime and thriller ones. So, like, that's even more niche than just Asian dramas. It's nice to have other people who like the same things I do or are willing to try crime and thriller ones. You, as a community, have really supported the blog in the last 4 years and then also has supported me branching out into the podcast or whatever I plan to do in 2025. The blog is going nowhere. Like it really is my notes for the podcast. And a lot of people have found the podcast through the blog, so I definitely not getting rid of it anytime soon. But I really appreciate and I have no regrets of entering into being a blogger. And honestly, I don't even consider myself a blogger. I like maybe write once a week, maybe. And then you have the podcast. Like the big thing I created in 2024 was the podcast. And I honestly never thought I would make a podcast because I was content with writing the blog and guesting on other people's podcast. And then I was convinced to start one, really just like not really convinced. I just talked my way into it using other people's ears. And due to me guesting on other people's podcasts, I found that I do like talking into a microphone. It also gives me, I talk a lot. Let's just say I talk a lot. I talk a lot about what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about Asian dramas. Podcast has definitely given me a other, what is the word I'm looking for? Other avenue for talking about dramas that I sometimes can't express when it comes to writing. But again, I have no regrets. It has created a lot of new challenges for me, but I also think it has brought more people to the blog or Asian dramas or into this community in general. It's, as I said, has allowed me meet more people. It's just another place that I can flex my creative muscles and cover things on the podcast that I don't have time to cover in blogs. I think I've done more reviews on the podcast than I did in the blog in 2023 because I have so many regularly like series on the blog that I do. The podcast has allowed me to just do more reviews, which I wanted. I wanted the podcast to be the review heavy part because it might be a better format to do it as a podcast episode versus a blog post. And that's the kind of things I think about when I think about my content. But I will always be grateful for the people who helped me convince myself to start this podcast, just as I am grateful for people who convinced me to start the blog. It really just has brought me a lot of joy and a creative outlet that I never thought I needed because I thought I was content with just gushing about dramas over social media. And I still do that. Like, it's not like I don't, but this podcast and the blog has really given me other avenues to express that love for Asian dramas. So that's a little bit of 2024. That's basically me saying, like, thank you for always being around, interacting, listening to this podcast. Even though I'm solo, I am adding guests in 2025. That is one thing that you can look forward to. I can confirm that. We had a little sprinkling of that in December. I hope you enjoyed the Shogun episode with Jess, but I am adding guests, a whole pool of guests that I can choose from. So that will be rolling out after January because I want to get to a year of putting out episodes by myself. But yeah, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for interacting with me on social media. Thank you for listening day in and day out. Thank you for going to the blog. Thank you for DMing me or commenting. If you hear my cat purring, she won't leave me alone because I just got home from Christmas. She is literally glued to my lap right now. You might hear her purring in the background. But yeah, this is just a huge thank you. Like, I say this with all honesty and from the bottom of my heart. Like, my life has truly changed from 2020 to 2025 due to the blog and the podcast and talking about dramas and things like that. And for me to be able to provide a content and a space for all of you guys to interact with me and to feel safe enough to express your love for Asian dramas and have a space that you can have real connection with people who like the things you like. That is basically all I ever wanted was starting a blog and a podcast because I know how hard it is to love something and not have anybody in your real life to connect with through that hobby or through that love, which is why social media was such a godsend when I did find the Asian drama community. But that's the goal. That really is the goal from this blog and podcast and everything. And just the friends I've made through it have just been a highlight and just kind of like the cherry on top in a way. So, yeah, just thank you again for supporting this wild idea of me starting a podcast and moving from blog to podcast form. And if you weren't a follower of my blog, welcome. Like, I truly can't believe I have like 5,000 listens in not even a year of this podcast, let alone like over 100 subscribers. Like, that is insane to me. Um, and like 500 people follow me on Instagram. Like, that's just insane. That's just insane to me. I never, if you would ask me in 2020, like, hey, Caitlin, you're going to create this blog and this podcast and you're going to have like 500 followers on Instagram and over 10,000 people coming to read your blog like on a monthly basis and blah, 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 blah. Like, that's just insane to me. It's just absolutely insane. So I can't thank you enough, and I truly, truly value this community that we have. And I really am looking forward to what we're doing in 2025 with the podcast, especially, and also the other challenges that I uh, plan to do. So, yeah, that's my little thank you for 2024, saying goodbye to 2024 a little bit. We're going to be spending all of January kind of saying goodbye to 2024 in terms of dramas. But now looking at 2025, I do plan to challenge myself once again. I did start a YouTube channel for the blog and podcast in the past month. So you are not only getting the podcast on Spotify or whatever, it will now be on YouTube as well. I do hopefully I want to try some long form like reviews. I know I've been doing reviews in terms of reels and TikToks and stuff, which I do still plan on doing, but I talk too much. That time limit of a minute and a half, 3 minutes, whatever, how long, whatever platform you're using is too short for me. So I'm hoping to hopefully review stuff in a long form on YouTube. That's mainly the goal, but also just to get the podcast episodes on YouTube too. That's really just the first priority. So I will be releasing the podcast episodes on the channel. As I said, I do plan on doing lists and reviews and stuff as videos. Definitely will be more of a challenge for me. But I also just thought, like, why not? Like, I already post short form reviews, and as I said, the time limit is just not allowing me to express my opinions in a very good way, in my opinion. So that's mainly the big reason I started the YouTube channel, is to get the podcast on YouTube, but also just give me another challenge of long form. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited for it. I'm not really I don't I'm experimenting. I don't really have a plan. But, like, don't worry though, I do still plan on doing the podcast and the blog. Like, they're not going away. I have literally the next 6 months of the podcast planned out. So that's not going anywhere really. But yeah, I'm gonna be challenging myself. I don't know why I did it. I honestly don't. I don't know why I added a YouTube channel to this mix, but I did. We'll see how this goes. I have barely ever edited like a video for audio. I've gotten quite good, I think. Not like great, but it's decent. Video, I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. But that's the big change in 2025. But I have a lot planned for the podcast. I'm really excited for the podcast and the episodes we have. Again, we are adding guests. That is the other big thing that we're doing in 2025, starting February, March time. We have a lot planned for the guests. I have 4 or 5 guests. I'll roll them out slowly. And we already chose what we're going to review and talk about and things like that. You'll obviously recognize a ton of them, whether you've listened to me on other people's podcasts or their own podcasts. Most of them are podcasters themselves. So I'm excited. I'm excited for 2025 and what the podcast is gonna do, and we'll see how this goes. Before we move on to the resolutions, I just want to look a little bit back into 2024 Drama Land. As I said, in January, we're going to do a deeper dive on this, but in my opinion, 2024 Dramaland is interesting to look back on. I don't think I've been more grateful than in 2024 that I watched dramas from all of the countries. Like, there were definitely months where I wasn't watching any Korean dramas, so my watch list was filled with Chinese dramas, Thai dramas, Japanese dramas, so on and so forth. And I really think this is the first year that I myself saw a lull in K dramas in the middle of the year, because there were multiple months that I just didn't watch a single airing K-drama. And that really, it's not to say that there were bad K-dramas in that time, it's just none interested me. I think I've done a pretty good job in 2024 to not chase the popular ones if I know I'm not going to like them. So I tend to be more picky because I don't want to drop dramas. Like, the goal is to get to the point where I'm not dropping any. I still drop dramas in 2024, that's for sure. But I think I've learned over the years that I don't like certain genres or certain tropes or things like that. And I think 2024 really showed that I've gotten pretty good with choosing what I want to even start. Yes, there were still some things I should not have finished, I should have dropped, but they were at least still in the genre that. Where are you going? Hold on. They were at least like mostly still in the genre that I liked. Most of the ones I dropped were crime dramas. And I was excited to watch them at the beginning. I didn't watch like a rom-com knowing that I would not like it, but I watched it because everybody else was watching it. Like, that's the goal for me, is not to fall into the FOMO trap and start stuff that I know I'm not going to like. Because that's like, I feel like that's disingenuous to myself, but also to you guys, because if I know I'm not gonna like a drama, I'm not gonna watch it and then bash on it because I know I'm not gonna like it. Like, what's the point of me watching it? You know? And then if you hear my review of that drama and I'm extremely negative about it, you're going to feel bad to like the drama, or you're going to be like, why did you even watch it? Like, we know that you are a crime drama person. Why did you start a rom-com? Maybe that's why I had a lull in K-dramas, is just I didn't start any of the ones because none of them were up my alley in the middle of the year. But I filled the void with other dramas, and I'm happy I watched other dramas. There were some really big highlights though in 2024. It wasn't like a dud year or anything. I saw people trying dramas from other countries more. Um, I think Korea had an amazing year in crime dramas. I thought the crime genre in 2024 was great. Um, I also saw a lot of people dip their toes into the crime genre for the first time in 2024. So props to you guys. I That's all I ever want. I want people to at least try the genre. Some people can't, and I understand that. It's not for everybody. I know I'm the outlier here because my background is in crime, but I always like people at least trying the genre, trying it out. That's all I can ask for. You don't have to like it. I understand that you might not like it, but at least try it, maybe. But also within the genre of crime too, there's like comedy ones involved, which we had some pretty funny ones. I didn't watch them because I knew I wouldn't like the comedy, but other people loved them because they were comedy. You know, they weren't as scary. So I just enjoyed seeing people getting out of their comfort zones and trying the crime genre in the first place, whether that's Korea or other countries in general. I also saw people trying like Asian dramas in general, or other countries. Like they might have never seen a Chinese drama before and they dip their toes into it, or they might have never, I don't know, tried a Japanese drama or like a genre that is new to them. I love watching that. I love seeing that. I love people on social media saying, like, oh my God, this is my first drama. I loved it. Recommend me more of them. I love those types of posts. If you have never had tried Asian dramas before, and that was the first year in 2024, welcome. 24 has a lot of ups and downs for me in general, but I don't think it was as consistent in terms of dramas as other years, but it wasn't a flop year either. I think it was just okay. Crime-wise, though, it was a great year. I will say that. Crime dramas, especially Korean crime dramas, chef's kiss in 2024. I'm very happy with that. I'm really curious what 2025 is gonna bring because I had this one prediction in the early stages of 2024 that there was gonna be a lot of cheating and makjang dramas in 2024 due to the dramas we were getting in, like, January and into 2024, like Marry My Husband and Perfect Marriage Revenge. I thought we were headed down the cheating route, which would have been great for me because I love that. I love messy dramas, you know, mahjong, messy affair, crime, that type of stuff. We didn't get that. It kind of stopped in like February for the most part. We had one or two continue, but most part, it wasn't a full on onslaught of that theme like I thought it would be. But you win some, you lose some, you know? You know? I'm just really curious what the themes of 2025 are going to be, especially with, like, the news that we have coming out where there might not be as many Korean dramas that come out as usual. I can't remember the headline that came out a couple weeks ago, but, like, they just don't have the funds to make them as many as they used to. So I'm really curious what will blow up and if people will try other countries or what genres will blow up or what themes. Like obviously due to Lovely Runner, we had a lot of like time slip dramas come into play in 2024. I didn't watch most of them, but the year before was like reincarnation and second lives. There's always a theme in some year. So I'm really curious what 2025 is going to look. It wasn't a horrible year though. As I said, crime dramas were perfection. Hopefully that continues in 2025, but I have had better years in terms of consistency and what I was watching, especially airing Korean dramas. I was always watching at least one, and there were some months in 2024 that I just didn't click play on any, but that was because I didn't have any interest. It wasn't the fact they were bad dramas. I just didn't have any interest in them. So that's a me problem, I guess. But that's my little look back on 2024. I still had dramas that I loved, so I still have a top 10 whatever Korean dramas, top whatever dramas. So you'll get that in January for sure. Right before we move into resolutions and I explain what that means. Again, I just want to thank you for listening to the podcast, the blog, just anybody who interacts with me anywhere. I'm eternally grateful. This would not exist without you guys. It's just a fun hobby for me. I create content, I make you happy. It creates conversation, creates a safe space for you to gush about Asian dramas. Like, I can't thank you enough for just being around and listening and interacting and existing really to read my blog posts or listen to the podcast episodes or DM me or give me ideas or request dramas for me to watch, like recommend. I cannot wait to see how you take the podcast episodes for 2025 because I have a lot planned and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm curious what you guys like. Do you have any predictions for 2025? Because I'm wondering if people will branch out to other countries or if they'll branch out to other genres like they started to do in 2024. I'm wondering if I will watch a lot of Korean dramas because, again, with Korean dramas, those are the only dramas I watch as they air. The rest I usually wait until they're done or almost done. So I'm really curious. Like this year, I still watched a lot of Korean dramas. I think I was like 20, 24 Korean dramas, and that's low for me. That tells me something because I had a low number of dramas this year, a lot lower than any other year that I've started keeping a list. So that's low for me. And usually I'm easily in the 30s when it comes to Korean dramas by the end of the year. So well, I'm curious. I'm just curious how those numbers will play out next year, what characters will really draw us in, entertain us, what couples we'll root for, what bad guys we love to hate, like what dramas will grab our attention in 2025. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm hoping 2025 will be an amazing drama year. We'll have to see. That is my thank you and my little dive into 2024 and a little dive into 2025. We're going to do more of that in January. But now I want to go over my resolution. What are these resolutions I keep referring to? So every year on the blog for the past, I don't know, ever since I created the blog. I think I started it going into 2021. So pretty much at the beginning of the blog, I wrote out my drama watching resolutions and I would say why I wanted this resolution, but I would also look back on the resolutions that I wrote for the previous year. So in this case, I looked back on the resolutions I wrote for 2024 and I would reflect and say like, "Oh yeah, I did follow this," or "No, I absolutely did not. I don't remember writing this." And then I write mine for 2025. If you want to write your resolutions, I would love to hear them. I really would because I think it's fun. It's all in good fun. Like it's not like I kind of hope I'll follow some of them, but I know that some of them are kind of a joke and I'm not going to, but we'll have to see. I'm going to look back on my 2024 resolutions. I'm going to say if I did follow them, if I did not, and then I will go straight into my 2025 resolutions. You can follow along. I wrote all of this out on the blog. It is published now. You can go and look at that if it's too much of me talking or something. My first 2024 resolution that I wrote was set a number of dramas, a limit to the number of dramas I'm watching at one time, because this, I think, has been a resolution since 2020 because I sometimes get excited over dramas and I start them and I'm all of a sudden have 20 dramas on my current watch list. And from experience, I know I can't handle more than 15, and 15 is pushing it. So in 2024, I wanted to stay under 10, really ideally 6 to 8. And I think I got better at this in 2024. I never really did go over 10. I tried to stick to 8, but I did definitely have 10 dramas at least on my current watch list at some point. But I think I fairly controlled this. I do hope to continue it in 2025, maybe bring down the number of like 6 dramas at one time. But because I mostly did stick to 10, maybe I'll just push that to 8 or so. We'll have to see. But I think I call this a win because I definitely didn't go over 10. I made sure to not go over 10. Maybe if you included some of the anime I did, but that's beside the point. Okay, number 2 resolution, which I definitely did not follow, was only watch one completed drama at one time. I was just as bad, if not worse, in 2024 for this. I would start multiple completed dramas at once and then I would watch them for months on end because they would go on the back burner because I was catching up on airing dramas and I wouldn't complete them fast and they would stay on my current watch list for a bunch of months. And this is why I need to only watch one at a time because I would finish it faster. I would get off my current watch list and it wouldn't be on my watch list for months at a time. And the problem is I don't binge. Like I can't binge at all. So there's times where I'm not watching a lot of airing dramas and then I'm sick of like the one current like completed drama I'm watching because I binged 5 episodes. I This is why it's hard for me because I can't do one completed, but I really, really, really want to try this in 2025 to do one completed drama because it was atrocious. Some of those completed dramas that stayed on my current watch list for months. My next resolution for 2024: don't look ahead. Caitlin, just stop doing this. I used to in 2023 and earlier years, I used to if I got behind on, like, an airing drama not even. Sometimes I would just pick a completed drama and, like, skim through all the episodes and watch the exciting parts. But with the airing dramas, I would do this all the time, like, if I didn't have time to watch the airing episode immediately, I would just pull it up and skim through it and kinda spoil myself on the episode. I hated doing that because I sometimes lost interest if I knew what was coming, especially crime dramas. I think I got actually pretty a lot better with this in 2024. I definitely could probably still improve, but I don't think I did this as much in 2024 as I was doing in previous years. So I'll call this a win because I know I definitely have done that with When the Phone Rings, but I really was spoiled on When the Phone Rings on social media because I'm very, very behind on that drama right now. All right, number 4. 2024, I wanted to clean out my on hold list. I don't think I touched my on hold list at all. I definitely didn't add to it, but I also didn't clean it out. We'll see if I do anything with this one in 2025. I don't know, because some of those dramas have been on that on hold list for years, and I just have never decided to drop them officially. But yeah, I definitely did not even touch my on hold list at all in 2024. Next one, number 5, watch all the cheating makjang dramas I can get my hands on. Again, I think I wrote this one because I thought we were gonna have a theme in terms of, um, 2024, like, that was a major theme because that was what it was looking like going into 2024, but that just did not pan out. I think I did a pretty good job with this. I think I checked out most of the Korean dramas that came out with this vibe. There were definitely older ones I still could have checked out, but I think in 2024, as it went on, there was less and less of this theme. At the beginning of the year, we had, as I said, like Perfect Marriage Revenge, Marry My Husband, Hyde, which I all watched. I did miss some though, like Good Partner. I definitely did not watch that one, and it definitely has this storyline in it. Overall, I don't think there was as many Korean dramas with this theme as I thought there would be, but I also did not watch any, like, cheating makjang dramas from, like, other countries except maybe The Double. So, half of it is my fault 'cause I obviously did not chase down this theme in other dramas, but also it just didn't pan out how I foresaw it going, I guess. I'd say, like, yes, I did it, but no, I didn't. Okay, number 6, watch more crime dramas from other countries in 2024. I semi-failed at this. I think I did watch more crime dramas from other countries, but they were, like, still less than the Korean dramas I watched. But I also watched less dramas overall across all the countries in 2024, so there's still many crime dramas from even Korea that I still did not watch. So I guess this is a good thing because I definitely have a lot of dramas that I still need to watch, so I won't run out of dramas, but I kind of fulfilled this, but also didn't fulfill this at the same time. I know there's definitely a lot of Chinese crime dramas that I still yet to watch. I mean, there's like Blackout from 2024 that I still haven't seen, which I know is atrocious. Um, but here we are. Number 7, for 2024, watch more thriller-like dramas from other countries. I failed at this again. I think I even failed this like, a bit in Korea as well. There were definitely a few 2024 crime thriller K-dramas I never got around to watching. As I said, Blackout. I'm gonna talk about this more in my 2025 resolutions, but I just keep adding thriller crime dramas to my plan to watch list at this point, but I don't click play on them. So, at least they'll never run out. I'll just say that. At least I'll always have a list of crime dramas I wanna watch. Number 8, be more organized. I think I fulfilled this resolution. I mean, I started a podcast in 2024, and I've put out an episode every week since I started the podcast. And it took some serious planning and working ahead of schedule, especially around the holidays. And then even looking into 2025, they're not recorded, but I at least have the first 6 months of the podcast planned out already. Like, I do need to be even more organized in 2025 since I did add the YouTube channel, but I think I fulfilled this resolution in 2024 for the most part. I mean, I have given a podcast episode every week. That's an accomplishment. Okay. Two more for 2024. Complete more dramas in 2024. That's number 9. I definitely did not fulfill this. I completed less dramas in 2024 than I did in 2023. I completed 64 dramas in 2023. In 2024, I completed 56. There were just a lot less dramas I even clicked play on in 2024. I think that's a big part, is I got more picky, which hurrah to me. Like, I honestly, that's a good thing for me because I don't like dropping dramas. I want to watch good dramas. So I got pickier with clicking on dramas, which caused me to drop less. But I also completed less because I was clicking on less dramas. I also just, life got in the way again. I still dropped dramas in 2024, but there was like November, I completed nothing. There were months in 2024 that I completed like one drama due to life. I mean, I could improve with this. So, yeah, so this resolution will definitely be in 2025 because I need to at least get back up into the 60s. Number 10 for 2024, try not to fall too behind on airing dramas. I did not fulfill this in 2024. I dropped 10 dramas in 2024, and about half I dropped was because I fell behind and did not care to catch up. Or I got spoiled on the ending because I fell behind and I did not like the ending, so I dropped it. Yeah, so I definitely did not fulfill this resolution. I know there are dramas that I'm currently watching that I'm still watching because I'm very behind on them, but a win is I did drop one less drama in 2024 than I did in 2023, so that's a win. All right, moving on. Those were my resolutions in 2024. I'd say I maybe fulfilled like half of them. 1, 2, 3-ish, 4-ish, 5. Yeah, I would say I fulfilled half-ish. Other ones I completely failed. Others I'm like, that's iffy. Like I maybe fulfilled it on some aspect and others not. So, all right, looking in my 2025 drama watching resolutions. Some of them are repeats, others are new ones. So, I'm going to speed through the ones that are kind of repeats. Number 1, set a limit on the number of dramas I'm watching at one time. I already talked about this. I said in 2024 I wanted to keep the number that I'm watching to 6 to 8 dramas, no more than 10. I think I pretty much stuck to that, but think I did exceed 10 at some point in 2024. I would be kidding myself if I didn't. I really, really, really want to stick to this number in 2025. I have to remind myself that the dramas will always be there. I don't need to watch all of the airing Korean dramas or all of the popular C-dramas that I want to watch. So I just need to stick with that number. So we're going to try that again for 2025. Number 2, definitely repeating. Only watch one completed drama at one time. Definitely did not follow this in 2024, and I really need to. I just would fall behind all my completed dramas that I was watching because I was falling behind on the airing dramas. I was watching those first and then falling behind on the completed dramas I was watching. So they were back burner dramas, and I would start multiple of them. And then they really just did not get off my current watch list. I just need to stick to one and get it off my current watch list and not have a bunch of back burner dramas sitting in my watch list. All right, number 3, concentrate on crime thriller dramas. I know this is a new one. I know I'm known among my fellow podcasters and some drama watchers that I'm the go-to person for crime drama recommendations. Thank you very much. I will gladly take that honor. Someone called me Olivia Benson in a comment under a podcast episode. That is the highest compliment ever. Thank you for whoever called me that. I am definitely not Olivia Benson. She is a goddess. I wish I was her. I definitely am the go-to crime person, at least among my peers. And I want to lean more into that, really. I have discovered more and more that there are certain genres like romance that I don't enjoy, but I watch because they are popular. I don't think I will 100% only watch crime thriller dramas, but I want to give them more of a priority. There might be times I'm 100% watching crime thriller dramas, but I want to give them more of a priority, especially from other countries. I want to like actually fulfill that title of go-to crime person. So, I want to get more crime dramas in my repertoire to recommend. And become that more go-to knowledgeable person that I am considered today. So I'm gonna concentrate on crime and thrill dramas really in 2025. Number 4, this kind of is connected to number 3. I wanna watch more crime thriller dramas from other countries. I think I do a fairly good job with watching all the airing crime K-dramas. I did miss a couple in 2024, but I absolutely know I do a horrible job with watching crime dramas from other countries because I normally don't watch them on air. I normally wait, and then they just pile up and I never click play. There are a ton of crime, Thai, Japanese, Chinese, Taiwanese, like every other country. I still have on my plan to watch list. It's crazy how much I have. And I want to watch more of them and give them more priority. So it probably means I need to be more selective and move through dramas quicker in 2025. We'll see how that goes. I don't know how I will accomplish this really in terms of picking and choosing, but I definitely want to give crime dramas a priority. So we'll see. Another genre I know I'm going to give a priority in 2025 is tomb raiding Chinese dramas because I love them. There's tons that I haven't seen, and I think there's some new ones coming out, so that's a plus for me. Like Lost Tomb series, for example. All right, number 5 for 2025. Complete more dramas in 2025. Yep. I completed 56 dramas in 2024. That is 10 less dramas than I finished in 2023, which in 2023 was less dramas than I completed in 2022, 2021, and 2020. So, like, as the years have gone by since 2020, I've completed less dramas. Granted, I will never complete the number of dramas I completed in 2020. It was like 91 dramas. I will never be at that number, ever. I was happy with that number. I was trying to get to 100 because it was the pandemic and I wasn't going anywhere. I will never get to that. My dream is to someday break 100. I don't think that will ever happen. But like 91 was the closest. But I definitely want to get at least back in the 70s, 75. Like I know I can do it. It's ridiculous that I'm at 56 in my opinion. I know other people like are going to be like, "Damn, you completed 56 dramas. That's intense." That's low for me. I'm just saying. So we'll have to see. I'm sad that the number keeps going down every year since 2020. Granted, before 2020, I was completing like 40 something like maybe 50. So it went up and then went down. I definitely want to finish more than 56. And I definitely don't want to get lower than 56, hopefully. All right, number 6 for 2025, don't feel FOMO. I think overall I do a pretty good job with this. I am aware that crime dramas are not everyone's jam. I am aware I tend to not watch or like what popular dramas are. I will say though, I did feel some FOMO with the Chinese dramas in 2024. I don't watch Chinese dramas as they air, and there were multiple times in 2024 where a certain Chinese drama was all over my social media, and I was just not watching it. For example, Blossom, that literally just completed airing, has been on my social media for the past month. I just did not have the time in the last 2 months to click play on it. I probably would have, which would be really bad for me because I was trying to finish other dramas before the end of the year. But I got major FOMO from that because everybody was talking about it. I do plan to watch Blossom in 2025. That's actually on my list, but I just need to remind myself that the drama will always be there or that I like don't like the genre that people are talking about. So why do I have FOMO in the first place? Overall, though, I think I do a pretty good job with dealing with FOMO, but there are things that kind of come up once in a while. All right, number 7. I kind of wrote this down because I need to remind myself of this. It kind of goes with the number 6 FOMO one. Highlight lesser known dramas. I have always said that I created this blog and now podcast, YouTube channel, whatever, because I wanted to highlight the lesser known dramas. And I know I watch dramas that don't appeal to the masses. I know I watch genres that don't appeal to the masses. So it's been great to get comments on like podcast episodes thanking me for reviewing the drama because they never would have known about it or would have watched it if they did not listen to the review or read my blog review, whatever. I want to do more of this in 2025. I know I started this blog and podcast to share dramas with people, to share ones that people might not know about, to share genres that people might not normally gravitate towards but might want to dip their toes into, and then they can come to me for recommendations. Like, I think I need to be reminded of this in 2025, and we need more of this in 2025. I want to highlight those lesser known dramas, and because sometimes you find some really good ones in the ones that people don't watch or aren't interested in. And then that's always nice to find one that you find appealing, that you can then tell other people that, hey, if you're looking for something different, check this out, that type of thing. All right, 3 more for 2025. Oh, actually, no, 5 more because I added 5. I had 10 for 2024, and I think I had 13 for 2025. All right, number 8, watch more Japanese dramas. I have so many Japanese dramas on my plan to watch list. Because one thing is Japan, I love their romance dramas, and then I add them to my plan to watch list, and then I don't click play, and it's ridiculous. I always love the ones I end up watching, but for some reason I never watch a lot of Japanese dramas. Like in 2024, I completed 8 Japanese dramas, which is more than what I completed in 2023. So that's a win. But I definitely can do better. Like I always watch the most I watch is Korean dramas because I watch them as they air, and then C dramas, which I did watch more C dramas in 2024. But now I want to watch more Japanese dramas, especially since there's quite a few crime ones that I haven't watched. Because I think in like 2024, I watched like 24 Korean dramas and like 15, and then the next is 8 is Japanese, 15 Chinese dramas. I'm pulling those numbers off the top of my head though, so I might be a little off. I need to do better with Japanese dramas because I love them for the ones I've watched, and I don't watch more of them. All right, number 9, watch more anime. I've watched 4 anime in 2024. I want to increase that number. I have always enjoyed anime. I just have never really had a lot of access to it, and there are a ton that I'm finding out about, especially in January. There's a ton in January. I should not have looked at that list of what is coming out in January, but there's like 8 anime I want to watch in January. But there's a lot I still need to watch and explore. It's like me rediscovering Asian dramas again in 2017 because I didn't have access to Asian dramas for a couple years due to my life and where I was living. This is like me back in 2017 rediscovering Asian dramas and realizing there's a ton of Asian dramas I haven't seen. This is me with anime right now. Is like I'm finding there's so much anime that I have missed because I used to watch anime when I was younger and I've seen a lot of the classics, but like the newer stuff, no, I have not seen most of the newer stuff. My first love will always be Asian dramas, but would like to watch more anime, especially in 2025. At least more than 4. I mean, I have like 8 or 9 anime, as I said, starting in January alone that have caught my eye. So maybe I just watch those 9 in 2025. I'm not gonna watch all of them as they air though. That's ridiculous. But also this also includes dongwa. Like I have so much dongwa I want to watch that have been on my list since I discovered I could because it's on like iQIYI or whatever. Yeah, but at least this is good because there's always something for me to watch out there. At least that's good. All right, 3 more, maybe 4. 4 more, maybe. Anyway, 10. Just have fun. Watch what's excited. What? Wow, I can't write, let alone talk. Number 10. Just have fun. Watch what excites you. I've definitely gotten better with this over the years since I first started watching dramas. I used to think I was like weird that I didn't like the popular romance dramas of the year or wasn't interested in any of the popular dramas. Now I don't really care. But in 2024, that sort of changed a bit because, sorry, I'm getting congested. With the content I made, like blog posts, podcasts, YouTube, whatever, I sort of had to relearn this again. I started to think like, well, if I watch this, it's not going to do well because no one will listen to it. And I'm not interested in watching this drama at all, but everybody's talking about it. I need to stop that. Like, as I said in earlier resolution stuff, like, I made this podcast and this blog for me specifically to entertain other people, to highlight the things I like. I need to not worry about the numbers. Like, people will listen to the podcast, click the blog post, watch the YouTube video if they find it interesting. And just from the comments alone I've gotten, as I said, some people have liked the episodes where I highlight dramas that no one knows about or talks about genres that aren't everyone's favorite. And I'll get messages from people saying like, "Oh my god, that drama you recommended, I loved it. Thank you so much for recommending it. I never would have heard about it." Like, I need to stop looking at numbers and stuff. Like, when I first started the blog in 2020, I obsessed over those numbers. And then eventually I was just like, I can't do that. I can't. And I think due to starting the podcast this year, that kind of has started again. And again, I'm so grateful for like the listens and the subscribers we had in not even the first year of the podcast. It's ridiculous that we got over 5,000 listens, but it's never been about the numbers for me. And I think now that now that I started the podcast in 2024, when I got used to not caring about the numbers with the blog, that kind of restarted that whole thinking process again with the podcast and then now the YouTube. So I need to just like remember that it's not about the numbers. Like, I don't really care about the numbers. It's like what I want to talk about and what I want to say. What brings me joy is talking about the dramas I loved and then to hear somebody tried that drama because of something I said. So I just need to get back to not caring about the numbers and just watch what I like and then talking about what I like. And then people maybe discovering a new genre or a new drama that they never heard of, never tried, whatever. Okay. 11 for 2025. Go to the specific countries for the genres you like from them. So I've learned over my many years of drama watching that I prefer certain genres with certain countries. For example, I prefer the romance dramas if I'm in the mood for them, if they are Japanese and somewhat Chinese, depending on the topic and the trope and things. In terms of historical dramas, I prefer Chinese dramas for some reason. I want to take that strategy going into 2025. So if I know I'm not really a mood watcher, but sometimes I am. If I know I'm in the mood for a certain thing, like, I don't know, like a romance drama, I want to go to Japan and pick the one from my long list of plan to watch list that I have not gotten to and watch it. Or if I'm in the mood for like a certain trope, like, I don't know, zombies. I know Korea does zombies really well. Like, I want to have that strategy in 2025 for two reasons. One, excuse me, I think it will allow my watch list to be spread out more and get some stuff off my plan to watch list that I've had on that for years. And also allow me not to just watch all Korean dramas because I hate when that happens that I'm just watching all Korean dramas and nothing else. Um, but also, I have a ton of older Korean dramas on my plan to watch list that I have not watched yet. So hopefully this also pulls them out of that. Creates variety for you guys, creates variety for me so I don't get bored. I'm hoping this works. All right, number 2 and number 3 kind of go hand in hand, or number 12 and number 13, I should say. Kind of go hand in hand. Number 12 is fulfill the YouTube goals, and 13 fulfill podcast goals. With the YouTube, I don't really have any like goals. I definitely know I'm just experimenting, really. Like my one goal is to get all the podcast episodes up on there. And I want to try long form and like with reviews and stuff, but it's me practicing, playing around with it, growing the platform. I just want to see where it goes. Maybe get 200 subscribers in 2025. I don't know if that will happen. Who knows? No idea. But really just like experimenting, trying stuff out, getting better at video editing, whatever. I don't really have a lot of goals in for the YouTube in general because, again, I only started a month ago, so we'll see how that goes. For 13, and my last resolution thing is I have been going. It's like fulfill podcast goals. The other thing with the YouTube is the reason why I don't really have any goals is because I'm a data person. I like data to kind of choose what my goals are for the next year, and there's just not enough data for the YouTube for me to even like predict anything. With the podcast, because it's been almost a year, I think I have enough data to possibly make some goals. I don't know if I'll make them, but there's some lofty goals here in the podcast. First, it's to make it a year. So the end of January is going to be a year. I want to make an episode for every week to the end of January. And definitely, I do have episodes planned after that. But if I make it a year, that will be accomplished for me. We will definitely do that. I want to add guests, as I said, which is in the works, already happening. So that's not gonna fail or anything. I have some big episodes planned for 2025, and I hope I can pull all of that off. So in 2024, we got 5,000 plays. I want to hit 15,000, but I think that's really, really lofty. So I'd be happy with 10 because we got 5,000. I'd be happy with 10. I want to do 15, but I don't think that's going to happen. I also would love to get 200 subscribers on the podcast in 2025. I think that would likely more happen than the 15,000. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see where the numbers go by 2026, but I lofty goal 15,000 plays. 200 subscribers I think is more doable, but we'll have to see. Basically though, the whole thing is just to have fun and put out content I like, variety content, keep giving what the people want, basically. So that is my resolutions. Looking back on 2024 and then also my drama resolutions for 2025, I kind of just do this as a joke. It's kind of fun. I like looking back on this every year. I have done it on the blog for the last 4 or 5 years. If you have any drama watching resolutions, feel free to comment below or DM me or whatever you want to do to let me know your drama resolutions. If you want to look back and follow along, this is a blog post that is now posted. I do have a YouTube channel. The link to the YouTube channel is in the blog post if you want to go subscribe to that. But you will have the podcast here on Spotify as well. So go ahead and do that. Listen, subscribe, whatever you want to do. 2025 is going to be a crazy year, man, and I'm excited for it. I really am. I have a lot of ideas, maybe too many ideas, but thank you again. I know I've said this like 4,000 times, but thank you again for being a listener of the No Sleep for Dramas podcast. I would not be here without you guys, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for how my life has turned out in the last 4 years due to you guys and this podcast and the blog and everybody I've met through social media. I hope I at least give you a safe space to talk about dramas, a little bit of entertainment. And yeah, we're closed out of 2024. It is now January 1st, 2025. It is going to be a fun and wild ride on this Asian drama podcast. And I cannot wait. I can't wait to give you guys what I have planned. There's going to be some lofty episodes. If I can pull it off, hopefully I can. But thank you for listening. Happy New Year. I hope you guys are enjoying the first of the year. Let me know what some of your resolutions were or are. Thank you again. Bye. If you want to continue the conversations about dramas that were started in this episode, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky under the username No Sleep for Dramas. That is No Sleep, the number 4 dramas, just like in the title of the podcast. This podcast is also an expansion of my blog, so you can visit my blog at www.nosleepfordramas.com, the number 4 dramas.com, and find multiple years of blog posts already available at your fingertips. All links are in the description of this episode. Finally, please give this podcast a like or a follow wherever you listen to the podcast. Leaving a comment or a review also helps a lot. We love hearing ideas and feedback from all of you. Share the podcast with your friends as well. Thank you for listening. This has been an episode of the No Sleep for Dramas podcast, and I am your host, Caitlin. I will see you here next time, and I hope you get no sleep chasing the next episode just like me. Good night.